I'm Alan Braslow, your host of Protector of the Pack. I have with me today Jeff Nash, Camden County Freeholder. Uh, Jeff was very instrumental in helping us last August in getting a resolution against puppy mill and puppy mill dog and cat sales, uh, resolution for the county, and in helping to author with the Humane Society US the ordinance that has become the model ordinance for municipalities to give the strength behind the resolution. Uh, I have come to admire Jeff. I learn something new about him every time we talk. I learned today, Jeff, you've been a freeholder for 24 years now,
That's right.
which that's amazing.
It
I don't know
is.
if people have jobs that long. Uh, what made you become a freeholder? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and because I think you folks really need to hear about Jeff. He's an awesome human being.
Well, first, thanks for having me on this show. I appreciate it. And it's been an honor to work with you, Alan. You are the one person who has motivated an entire county and soon to be the state in taking a focused look on what happens with the sale of puppies. And there was a store in Cherry Hill that has now converted to a rescue model, and it's the model for the entire country. So thanks for having me. 24 years seems like a long time, but it goes by quickly. I've always had an interest in public service, and I had the good fortune to run for freeholder 24 years ago, and I've been reelected ever since.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Besides the incredible work you've done with puppies, what are, over the 24 years, what sticks out in your mind as what you would call the major accomplishments, the things that make you say, boy, I'm really glad I'm doing this?
Yeah, there's the county, and it's not me alone. I work with an incredible group of public officials and administrators in Camden County, and I admire them every day because they are so inspirational in so many things that we do in the county. For me, my passion has always been the revitalization of Camden City for so many reasons, socially and in terms of the economics for the entire county. And most recently, there has been a revitalization, so many different efforts in the city, and we are watching a rebirth of what used to be the economic engine that drove all of South Jersey, and I think once again it will drive all of this region, and I'm very proud of that. But I'm also the freeholder liaison to the Parks Department. There are 20 parks in Camden County.
Wow.
And we've done what I think is a very good job in not only maintaining the parks, expanding the park system, enhancing the quality of life for county residents, but also we have preserved over 2,000 acres of open space, and that's something that we're very proud of in Camden County.
How hard is that to do? Because I know, like when I drive through Voorhees, I see some of the open space that's there, and that it can't be inexpensive to acquire that and make that happen. There have to be some challenges.
Yeah, I mean, because there's such a challenge, especially during fairly good economic times, to competing against developers who are looking to buy the remaining open space in some of the areas of Camden County, especially in the area of Voorhees and Cherry Hill. That property is very expensive, but you can only have so many drugstores on every corner. So we compete against the developers. We pay market value for that. We're very fortunate that some landowners are looking to preserve their property, maybe for their legacy. This is the Stafford Farm.
I was just thinking of the horse farm, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a horse farm. Unfortunately, it's no longer. The horses have gone, but the open space remains, and that was a large purchase by the county, the state, Voorhees Township. And so for the larger pieces, you need a compilation of governments to come in with their resources like we did at that property.
Interesting. I want to focus a little bit on my passion, puppy mills, who I hate. I don't know how else to put it. When you got involved with us last summer, what did you expect when we first called you and you heard, oh my God, I've got these folks out protesting in front of a puppy store?
Yeah, I drove by that. I drive by that store all the time, and I saw the protesters. I actually asked my wife what it was about. My wife is an animal rights advocate, and member of PETA, and has volunteered for the Humane Society. She's my my go-to person on any animal issue. And I asked her what it was about, and she told me that there are a group of activists who are protesting a puppy store on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. And she explained to me at that time, before I spoke with you, that about the puppy mills, and that these dogs being sold at that store in Cherry Hill are derived from the puppy mills. And I did my own research before speaking to you, and I found out, I had always heard about puppy mills, but never fully understood the travesty that was involved in the inhumane treatment widespread through these puppy mills. And to think that the puppies being sold in our community come from such a horrific background, to me was unacceptable. So when we spoke, I was already at the I was at the door.
You were engaged.
I was engaged.
Interesting. Now I know when we reached out to you, and it was so appreciated. We appreciated so much the fact that you just stepped up right away. And I've never seen things happen that quickly in government in my life. You were able to get the freeholders to pass a resolution, but you also prepared the ordinance, which was part of our education. Explain why you do both and why it's important that county has the resolution, but every single municipality needs to pass an ordinance.
In New Jersey, you have to be mindful of what the county government can and cannot do. You were very compelling. You put us in contact with the Humane Society in Washington, which has a specific project devoted to fighting these puppy mills. And we engaged the county's attorneys because their job was to write the resolution to oppose it. The freeholders can propose a policy initiative like banning the sale of these dogs. It's the lawyers who have to figure out whether or not the county has the legal right to preclude a specific business in our community. So the lawyers worked with the Humane Society and your office and you to craft legislation in the county that would do two things. First, it would set the tone for the county that we in Camden County will not allow these dogs to be sold, or cats that may come from kitten mills. But we would not permit these animals to be sold if they come from the puppy mills. And secondly, in terms of enforcement, the county can enforce such a law through its inspections through the health department. But it's not statutorily identified as a means to approve or disapprove. So the county can set the tone, but what we wanted to do is ensure that the county's resolution had some teeth to it. And that's why we reached out to the 37 municipalities that make up Camden County, and we said to those municipalities, you should pass, following the county's initiative, you should pass a restriction, a business restriction in your community that would prohibit the sale of these animals in your jurisdiction. And fortunately, virtually all of the towns in Camden County have followed the county's initiative and have passed those laws.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just received a text from one of the associates I work with on getting these ordinances introduced and passed. And what we find, I guess interesting is the word I want to use. Some of the municipalities don't seem to understand that the passing of the ordinance protects them from what we went through in Cherry Hill, where we did not have any way to protect ourselves from a puppy mill store opening up. They passed all of the other criteria business-wise and the inspections and whatever. What would you say to those 4 or 5 municipalities and 2 golf courses I think we have left, that why they should pass the ordinance? Why won't they do it? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I think sometimes towns are taking are looking at reasons not to do it rather than following what is good public policy. And sometimes people listen to their lawyers who are not as educated as they should be on this issue. We took a very hard look. Before passing this, the county passed its ordinance and recommended the towns to pass a separate ordinance. We took a very hard look at the law. And what we found, especially with the help of the Humane Society, is that these types of prohibitions have been affirmed by courts all over the country. In fact, there has not been a court in this country that has denied the restriction that we're talking about. We are very confident from a legal perspective that these restrictions will be upheld. And it's important really for two reasons. One, as we discussed, the horrific treatment, the inhumane treatment of the animals that are bred to produce these puppies. That is clearly a public policy initiative that should be adopted. But separate from that, it's a consumer protection issue. For the protection of the consumers buying these puppies, because statistically, and case after case, you find that these dogs come from an environment that leads to their medical problems. And it's not like buying a refrigerator or a dishwasher that you can call a repair guy for $50 and fix it. You become emotionally attached to this adorable little pet that is now part of your family. And if that pet has medical issues, it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to treat something that you love, like a family member. You would pay any price for a member of the family. So it's a consumer products issue, and it's a policy initiative to protect against the inhumane treatment of animals.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to Jeff about a specific store up in North Jersey, owner who has 4 stores, and what's happened with 2 of them being losing their licenses and the criminal charges, as well as a few more questions as to what we can do on a state level and then maybe on a national level. I was challenged on that over the weekend, on a national level, to shut down puppy mills and starting to do the right thing. Again, I'm Alan Braslow, Pet Patrol, Protector of the Pack.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. the way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more. Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Control. This is Alan Braslow, your host for Protector of the Pack, and I'm with Freeholder Jeff Nash. We're talking about puppy mills and how municipalities can prevent having puppy stores that sell puppy mill dogs and cats, breeders of evil, as I call them, in their towns. Recently, Jeff, maybe I'm looking for your thoughts on this. Recently, there was a puppy store owner in Paramus. He has 4 stores, 2 of which have been shut down, one of which he turned his license in last night, who had the audacity to say, I'm selling these puppies that I had in these places at a discount in my other stores, and oh, by the way, I'm looking for a new location. What are your thoughts on how we stop someone like that statewide? In addition to the state bill that's being passed, but we keep hearing ordinances have to be passed by municipalities now. Because where do we stand with S63, which is the law I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's very important for counties and municipalities to pass their individual prohibitions, but it would be very important for the state of New Jersey to pass a statewide ban. And this way, we don't have to worry about stores like the one that you mentioned.
Paramus
and some others. There are still more than a dozen, maybe 2 dozen stores in the state of New Jersey that are believed to be selling puppy mill dogs throughout the state. And clearly having individual towns make that prohibition is great because it prevents new stores from popping up anywhere. But it would be very important for the state of New Jersey to pass a ban similar to what we did in each of the Camden County towns in Camden County to prevent the sale of these animals statewide. Again, for the protection of the animals that are involved and for the protection of the consumers who are saddled with often dogs sick. The Humane Society has been working in the state of New Jersey, and Senator Lesniak is the prime sponsor in the Senate in a bill known as S63 that denotes the number of the legislation that not only bans the sale of these animals in the state of New Jersey, but also prohibits the internet sale of animals. And that's important, and it goes very far. It would be the most progressive bill in the entire country, and is very important because oftentimes the puppy mills use the internet as a middleman, so to speak, that people are buying animals off the internet, but they're actually derived from the puppy mills.
That's a good point, because one of the things that we find when we do our research, if you were looking for, and it was actually a very good South Jersey breeder who was at our hearing, who said this was the best thing we've done in 15 years. And Steve said to me, search on the internet and look for a particular breed. And we looked for this particular breed, and no matter what state you said you were in, that you're looking for a local breeder, somewhere where you could see the mother and the father of the dog and you could see how it's being treated, and reputable breeders, which there are a number of reputable breeders who do not sell to puppy mill stores. But when you would go online, no matter what state you said you were from, it was telling you that there was this local breeder that was in your neighborhood, but it was all going back to the same site, which were the puppy mills.
Right. What this bill does, it prevents the puppy mill dogs from floating into your home. but it also advances responsible breeding. It says that if you are going to buy a dog from a responsible breeder, it means that you have to meet the breeder and you have to have access to the animals that are involved in the breeding. And that is great for the consumer. And breeders, responsible breeders in the state of New Jersey, are applauding this legislation because they know their competition with these puppy mills is unfair competition. And responsible breeders who take the steps and care and cost of breeding any type of pedigree, they should be given the advantage over the puppy mills that do not put the time, effort, cost, medical care into breeding an animal. And the ultimate beneficiary is the consumer who gets a healthy dog with papers. And that's what this law seeks to protect.
That's interesting. We were talking with one of the breeders who said that he's proud of being a New Jersey resident because we're taking a realistic look at the problem, solving the problem, but also addressing the needs of the breeders. There was something that came up at a hearing where the breeder had asked, well, I can't bring dogs in. So there were adjustments made to the law that would allow him on, I forget what the frequency was, but to be able to bring another dog in from another breeder to breed them together when they were trying to do something that was would enhance the breed. Yeah. So New Jersey seems to be pretty progressive.
It is, and what I say to my friends who are the legislators who are involved in this, and they question whether we need to take these type of steps or create these prohibitions, I said, if you knew as a legislator that there was a product, a refrigerator, that was manufactured by people who were not paid fair wages or were treated horrifically in violation of labor laws, and that you knew your consumers would be buying a defective refrigerator that would not cost them $50 to repair, but thousands of dollars to repair, would you permit that refrigerator to be sold in your town? The answer is no, of course not. But when it comes to animals, they take a different approach. And when they make the analogy of a product, although I don't like to say a puppy is a product, but in essence, if you're selling something in a store, it is a product, you have consumer protections, and that's their job as legislators, and that's why I think this bill is going to be passed.
That's great. That's awesome. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to Jeff about our state of New Jersey and our legislature and our governor, and the fact that even though we all take a lot of heat because we argue like good family does, we tend to come together when it really matters. And it's something I'm very proud of, including the fact that New Jersey is probably number one or very close to it in passing these ordinances. Florida is breathing down our neck, but we seem to be stepping out. And then I have a question also for Jeff about what happens if S63 does get signed into law. What happens to the stores who are still out there, the 27 I think there are now, that are selling puppy mill dogs, and what their options are, and why they're good options, as we've proven down here in Cherry Hill. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then I will be back with Camden County Freeholder Jeff Nash.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. not just gifts, but more. Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Back to Pet Patrol, Protector of the Pack. I'm Alan Braslow, your host. And again, I'm here with Freeholder Jeffrey Nash, Camden County Freeholder Jeffrey Nash. We were talking at the break, and question I had, we've heard complaints from some of the puppy store folks that this will put them out of business, and I'm pro-business, so that's not what we're looking to do. Maybe a few select ones I wouldn't mind it happening to. But what happened with PT's Puppy Mill Adoption Center, or Puppy Love Adoption Center, when Pat went from, as you know it, from when he went from selling puppy mill dogs to rescue only, where he's adopting them out? What did you see happen to him business-wise?
Yeah, I'm pro-business as well, and we're always trying to advance businesses in Camden County. It's the blood that feeds us all. But there are certain businesses that should not exist. And I think that is the reason you create these consumer protection models. But for the puppy stores that are in existence, similar to Pat's Puppies in Cherry Hill, there is an alternative. There's a viable business alternative, and that is to convert the stores to a rescue store for puppies. In other words, there are many puppies that are bred and unwanted throughout the country, and these stores can convert to a model that would allow those dogs, rescues, to be sold at their stores. And Pat's Puppies is a great example. You and your organization did an amazing job in educating Pat and the principals of that store to show them that it is a viable alternative. And we have seen from all reports that his store is now doing very well. But they're doing it the right way. They're not selling dogs from the puppy mills. They're selling rescues that need loving homes. And the model exists, and that's what I think is a viable alternative for these stores.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One of the things, and curious your opinion, when we first made the conversion, we reached out to about 25 local rescues and asked who had puppies that they could help with. And the reality is, which almost surprised me, there weren't any. There were no puppies. And we reached out to other rescues from other areas of the country, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, where because of the cultural reasons they have a lot of puppies, and we're able to rescue them. And I think 800 so far have been adopted out through Pat's.
That's great.
what would you say to I call them the keyboard warriors, the naysayers who say you shouldn't be bringing dogs in from other areas, especially when we don't have them here to share and adopt out, when we've seen a transition of 800 puppies being adopted, that means 800 puppy mill puppies would not have been bred.
Right. I think that the borders that we create for ourselves are really borders that are in our mind. If there are dogs, puppies in another location, another town, another state that are in need of adoption, why not bring them to our community and allow them to be sold at a store that has taken the initiative to be progressive and to convert their model? I think that helps us. It's a win-win situation. I know that's cliche, but it's a win because we convert the store that was selling puppy mill dogs, and we end that funnel of sale, that demand from the puppy mills. And secondly, it offers homes to dogs that need loving homes. Now, I am a huge supporter of the animal shelters in our community. There are 4 animal shelters in Camden County. Camden County's own animal shelter has many rescues. My dog, Norman's Law. Norman's Law. Norman, it was a rescue from the Camden County Animal Shelter. He was found as a stray in Camden City, brought to the animal shelter. He found a loving home. I urge all families, if they want to find a loving dog, you should search the shelters. If you're looking for a puppy and you don't have a specific breed in mind, or even if you do, you may want to go to these stores that have created adoption centers and look there for a puppy that is in the need of a home.
Along with you said, one of the things that we try and remind folks as well, with 4 shelters and very good shelters, a lot of times there are older dogs that come in. My wife and I have ended up with a number of seniors where, for the wrong reasons, and I always say the problem is not on the dog end of the leash, the problem is on the human side of the leash. The ignorance is that's where it is. The dogs don't realize that I'm getting old, what happened to me. But go to the shelters and you can many times find an older dog that just wants to be your friend and hang out with you, and you don't have to worry about a puppy chewing things and whatever. And not everyone wants or needs to have a puppy. There's certain things you have to consider when you get a puppy. You're going to spend the time with it or whatever. Another question I had for you. We're finding that most recently in Ohio, the state of Ohio, there's a couple of legislators there that are trying to pass laws that will I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. Well, they'll eliminate the home rule ability of local municipalities that have passed ordinances to ban puppy mill stores in their towns. And do you think anything like that could happen here in New Jersey? I mean, I tend to look that no matter what side of the aisle it is, get that both sides of the aisle, our governor, you guys always seem to get along when it really matters.
Sometimes.
Right. But you work it out, and it seems to be something we can be proud of, I guess, here in New Jersey, the fact that on a social issue like animal rescue, consumer protection, we seem to get it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you'll have that problem in New Jersey as they have in Ohio. I would imagine in Ohio, where there are so many puppy mills existing, that there might be different types of pressures on the legislators to keep that business alive in that state. Although the governor has signed recent legislation that diminished the puppy mills somewhat in Ohio, Governor Kasich, who ran for president. In New Jersey, on animal rights issues, some of the most important leaders in our state, and that includes Senate President Sweeney, Majority Leader Greenwald, the governor, believe in animal rights and consumer protection. So I don't think you'll have that problem in the Garden State.
That is so nice to hear, because we get beat up by a lot of other people about, oh, you live in New Jersey. We are a Garden State.
We are.
We have a lot of farmland. We have people that care about each other and animals. We do fight like any family would, and we don't always get our way, but that's kind of where we're at. have a few more minutes to talk about this topic. What other suggestions would we have? What else can we do to make this better when it comes to the animal rescue?
Well, on the animal rescue, in Camden County, we are bringing the shelters together so that they're fighting as one voice for the protection of the rescues and advancing adoptions. And I think there have been some good marketing efforts to advance, to let people know what's available at the shelters. On the state level, we're working on S63 and the equivalent in the Assembly. And I am cautiously optimistic that will make it to the governor's desk by the end of this coming session, and hopefully the governor will sign it. And we will be the first state in the country to have a progressive legislation banning the sale of puppy mill dogs. And I would be, as a New Jersey resident, very proud if our state did that.
Jeff, I thank you. If you could, if folks want to reach out to you and questions or whatever, and I always see that you go beyond just Camden County. You're respected throughout the state, so
Okay.
people they like to hear your opinion on things. How can folks contact you?
Well, you can call me. The easiest way to contact me is through my email, and I answer it directly. So it's jnash, that's the letter J, N-A-S-H, at CamdenCounty.com. That's the easiest way to get me. Otherwise, you can call me at 856-225-5466, and I'll answer your call.
Well, I hope you're here for another 24 years at least as a Camden County Freeholder. I truly enjoy working with you. If you've probably noticed, Jeff and I are not in jackets and ties today. We are going to be doing a little rescue work as soon as this segment ends. That's what I love. I love someone who's not afraid to get their hands literally dirty when you're chasing puppies. I want to thank all of you for joining Jeff and I today. This is Alan Braslow, Protector of the Pack.